Okay, dear one, the next topic is contradictions and inversions. Okay. If you have ever been in a toxic relationship, you might have had issues to bring together those two different sides of the person you have been with. And I for sure had huge issues with that back then, because I couldn't wrap my head around it, how it was possible that someone who seems to be so nice and caring could also be so really extremely angry and distorted. And what makes it so difficult is it is normal. We are all a living contradiction. Everybody who's happy is also sad, and everybody who is calm is sometimes getting excited, or I think you get my point. But the problem with that is, if it feels like a person is almost like two different persons, it's not integrated, it's not natural, and it is as if something else would take them over somehow. And they really do often the opposite what seems normal to them. And this is, if you are together with such a person, this gives you a feeling of great discomfort, because it totally destroys the trust in the other person. And this is really where it is different. If you just have a normal person, so to speak, who is sometimes happy and sometimes sad, and sometimes is calm, and sometimes might get angry, but angry in what is not scary, in a not scary way. Someone once described it to me and said, yeah, you can get angry also, but I'm never afraid you would really harm me if you get angry. And that is the difference. A person who is kind of really distorted, they are so over the top, and as this anger is not, for example, the anger issue is not part of their normal personality, as it seems, it is really as if there would show up really a different person, and that is extremely frightening. And as a result, if you are with such a person, or you have I don't know, whatever it might be, you have any kind of relationship with such a person, there is a feeling as if this cannot be true, because you somehow have this this split almost in yourself, as you can't understand what is going on, because it's not making sense, it's not congruent in any way. And this is often a reason why we find excuses for the toxic person, for the abusive person, and why we stay longer in a relationship with that person than is good for us, because we have a relationship with the front personality, and from time to time someone shows up. We never chose to be in a relationship, but we want to continue the relationship with the person we liked, or we fell even in love with, and we want to stay in the nice relationship that we chose, and we try to somehow ignore the other part of their being that is coming through. And this is also a reason why we find excuses for the red flags. We think, yeah, he just had a hard day or something like that. We try to convince ourselves that this person just has had a bad day or something like that. And or in case of spiritual abuse, that your teacher, yeah, he's a human too. So we overlook those red flags because it is creating this contradiction that we can't wrap our mind around. So we ignore it somehow because we want to hold on to the relationship that we actually enjoy and value. Okay, I was describing this to actually maybe help you, because I know how this can feel almost painful, as your mind can't grasp what is actually happening. And if it is really such an extreme case that it seems as if you are talking to two different persons in that one person, chances are high this person that is toxic towards you has an altered personality. There is a kind of split in their being, and we all have many aspects of our being, but it gets dangerous and really toxic if this is not just an aspect of the own being, but if there is such a big split in their personality that they might not even really be aware of their other side. That's a little bit like Jekyll and Hyde. And yeah, so it is really at least two different persons in one person. So this split in a personality, this altered personality, is normally created by trauma, and this can just happen in their childhood in some way, because they identify with character trait, for example, being a nice guy, for example, because being a nice guy is valued, and suppressing the part that is seen as bad and evil. And so you have then two different personalities. It's not just one person who's sometimes nice and sometimes not nice. Then you have a personality that has to be the good guy and that has to play this role. That's it. It's a role that those people identify with, the role of a victim or a hero or whatever it might be. And at the same time, another role is created that is running in the background and may show up when this person is really stressed and is triggered. So this might happen by default, while normal, what is normal on planet Earth, while a normal upbringing with traumatic experiences, and we all have had traumatic experiences, this might happen by default. But it is also created with intention. That is when we come to the topic of mind control. Mind controllers, those people who actually are the programmers of a person, they know exactly how to create those alters. They have a protocol they follow through. They know exactly what to do, because Yeah, they have studied that and they know exactly how to create it for what result, and they see your personality and they know how to make sure to, for example, to create such a split in your personality. And as I have spoken before about spiritual teachers who are the opposite of what they seem to be, and that is also why if you have experienced, for example, abuse or spiritual abuse, people might not believe you, because if you are in a toxic relationship, people will not believe that this loving husband of yours is beating you down if he's drunk. People cannot believe that. Or people cannot believe that the all enlightened, love and light speaking guru is actually doing satanic rituals and is abusing people big time. People can just not believe that, because the contradiction is so huge, because it seems to be the opposite. And if there is really this opposite, that is when I would say chances are high that there has been really a case of MK Ultra, and there has been really created an inversion, which is the opposite of what a person seems to be. And in those MK Ultra projects, this is exactly the way they do it. There is this front personality that will attract love and light people, for example, that seem to be loving, caring, nice, wise, whatever you might look for. And behind it is the real mission, that is the opposite. And this person might not be aware of it themselves if they have been MK Ultra'd. It's really as if they have different persons living inside of them and they are not aware of the other person that lives inside of them. A few months ago there was this case of that one spiritual teacher that a friend of mine was following, and I knew him too, and was listening to a lot of his stuff also. And he came into a situation where he could actually start to see the truth. He could see that he was actually false light. There was this moment where he would have had the chance to break the spell, so to speak, but I was actually commenting under a video because I thought maybe he wants to break the spell, but no, he doesn't. He's not strong enough for that. And instead a handler showed up who made sure everything is how it should be from their point of view. And he then made up a story like, yeah, there are dark magicians who tried to lead him astray, and yeah, everybody is trying to stop him on his mission, and all kinds of nonsense, while it is the other way around. He is actually the dark magician, and people cannot look their own darkness in the eye. This is a huge, huge problem, how this is created. And the whole idea is how we have been educated since thousands of years. The whole thinking in black and white, good and evil, has always pushed us in a direction where we cannot really be ourselves. I have written in a book many years ago that for me the real fall from grace that you see, there is the story of the Garden of Eden, and that is highly symbolic, of course, and I wrote back then, and I still think that is true, that the real fall from grace for humankind was actually to believe they know good from bad. So they started to put things in two categories, black and white, good and evil, day and night, and started to create this split within themselves, instead of seeing themselves as a holistic being, with this different ways how they can naturally express themselves. But we are educated in a way where we are rewarded for good behavior and punished for bad behavior, and then this goes so far that it is creating trauma, it is creating altered personalities, and is even used with great intention in MK Ultra projects, where you can really split people in two parts. And this splitting of the personality, it is not natural. This is not natural to us. It is not natural to think there is the good wife and there's the bad girl. There's natural woman and there's distorted feminine. That is a distortion in itself, to put things into these black and white categories. This is something that is part of the whole matrix, distortion, so to speak, and it is part of the whole mind controlling program that we all went through. And in reality, we are not just black and white, we are all colors in all shades. And if we really have to think in those contradictions, and we have really parts of our own being that are not allowed to be, this is how the programming is taking place and how the split is taking place. And that is also the reason why many symbols are energetically charged so much, and why we sometimes have opposing meanings of one and the same symbol. For example, the owl is carrying a meaning of wisdom, but she's also a predator who is hunting at night in the darkness. So a natural being holds all of that within themselves, and you hold all your different expressions within you, if you are one within yourself. But in all of those programs, this is cut in two, and the owl, for example, is used big time in mind control projects. If you do your research, you will find that the owl is used if an MK Ultra victim is actually undergoing a ritual where this person has to face death. So what is of course creating a huge trauma in the person, and so the owl is becoming this double meaning, and there is this inversion of the wisdom and the deadly hunter. And so this is a symbol that is used big time, and I love owls, but in their natural expression, where they are everything. They're sometimes cute, sometimes funny, they are predators, and it's the same with cats or stuff like that. So people cling to symbols, but be very careful. Those symbols are used. It's not what they really are. And it is because this is charged. There's always this energetic charge in those things that is happening if this split is occurring. Then there is a charge if something is not unfolding in a natural expression, where energy just flows, and in this moment I am relaxed, and in the next moment I'm a little bit excited. There is no split in between that. There's no contradiction. The moment you have the contradiction, this is when there seem to be some programming, stuff like that taking place. And through the programming later, you just have to use some keywords or symbols to trigger, for example, an altar. If someone is went through an mind control program, and you just need some words and a song that is used, or yeah, the symbol of an owl or a cat or something like that, and this will trigger this program, because this is exactly what they do, and they can only think in black and white, and like a programmer it is just zeros and one, on and off, and they will never understand, they will never be able to really grasp what life is. That is so much more than black and white and on and off, and this is just a total limitation of what life really is. So please don't fall for the split. If you feel such a contradiction, just become aware that there is something triggered within you, and that is actually, there's something going on, and just become aware of that. You don't have to do anything with it, just look at it. What is it? What is it triggering within you? Is there a program running? And if you have to deal with a person that is really having these really extreme differences in their personality that you can't bring together, be really careful, and be really careful, and don't try to save them. That is something I very often still fall into the trap. For example, when I posted under the video of that guy I mentioned before, and I saw his his inverted part, and I tried to make him aware of it, because I felt there might be this moment where he might actually look it in the eye and therefore break the program. And this was out of, I don't know, still my program, where I try to protect other people, and don't do that, and be really careful to not make yourself a target, because a person that is deeply programmed, they are also programmed to protect their program, and so they might attack you. If you become aware that someone is programmed, don't bring yourself into any dangerous situation by trying to confront them and calling them out, because they might, if they have really been in an MK Ultra project, they are programmed to attack someone else or to do them harm on themselves if their program is actually challenged to break. And to unprogram is, the person has to be willing to really look their other parts in the eye and to really go into this really painful process. It's not that easy, and it's a question of the right timing, I guess. So yeah, it's not as easy as just call them out and then they might recognize, okay, something is going on, and become normal again. And that's, yeah, normally that's not happening. So really be careful. And first of all, if you have been in codependent relationships, you have to learn to take care for yourself. So make sure you are good and stay away from a person that is in a situation where you might not help them. The best you can help them is by removing yourself and making sure you heal and you get yourself help. And yeah, okay, that's it for this topic. If you have any questions, just comment below, and I will try my best to answer it, yeah, as good as I can, and as far as my own experiences go. That's a huge and big topic. It really is, and there's always more to learn and deeper insights. But I felt I have to share this because it's really, it's disturbing, this feeling, if you can't wrap your head around what is going on with this contradiction. And it's also if you feel really the pain because nobody is believing you, that is also because of the contradiction. People can't wrap their head around that. They can't see that this person that is so nice can be really dark and dangerous. It's somehow not possible for them, and it's really scary for them, and you don't know what kind of trauma it might trigger in them, why they are not able to look at it. Yeah. So please take good care for yourself, and yeah, until next time. Yeah, Natalie.